Hidden in the rugged, mist-shrouded mountains of Persia, a secret brotherhood once shaped the very shadows of history. They were known to the world by many names, but most often whispered in fear, as the Order of Assassins, the Hashashins. This feared and mysterious sect was founded in the 11th century by the enigmatic Hassan-i Sabbah, a visionary leader who would be called by many the Old Man of the Mountain. From within the impenetrable stone walls of the legendary fortress of Alamut, a castle perched high above the world, Hassan built more than just a sect. He forged a new, radical interpretation of Ismailism, a mystical branch of Shi'a Islam. And from this isolated, wind-swept stronghold, he commanded an elite network of devoted followers, known as fearlessness, whose unwavering loyalty shocked even their most powerful enemies. To the Christian chroniclers of the Middle Ages, their devotion was simply beyond comprehension. They wrote of men who obeyed their leader without a moment's hesitation, who faced certain death with a serene calm, believing that their sacrifice was not an end, but a glorious honor. Some contemporary accounts claimed Hassan led a disciplined order of nearly 60,000 followers, a vast network bound by shared faith, unbreakable secrecy, and absolute unquestioning obedience. The origins of their name, however, remain wrapped in layers of myth and misconception. Some scholars believe it comes from the Arabic word assass, meaning the foundations, referring to their role as defenders of the true Islamic faith. Others, particularly their enemies, tied the name to lurid tales of hashish, claiming the assassins used the drug to induce visions of paradise before their deadly missions. This gave rise to the term hashishiyun, the hashish smokers. It was these sensational stories, carried back to Europe by crusaders and travelers like Marco Polo, that inspired the very word assassin as we know it today. But the truth is far more complex than the myths. These fighters were not mindless killers, but highly trained, educated, and multilingual agents. They were masters of disguise, infiltration, and psychological warfare. Their weapon was not just the dagger, but knowledge. They studied their targets for months, sometimes years, learning their habits, their routines, and their weaknesses. Their assassinations were public, theatrical acts of political defiance, designed to send a clear, terrifying message to sultans, caliphs, and kings. No one was beyond their reach. Their targets were carefully chosen powerful figures who threatened the Ismaili community. Among their most famous victims were the Seljuk vizier Nizam al-Mulk and Conrad of Montferrat, the King of Jerusalem. The fear they inspired was a weapon in itself. For 2 centuries, their influence was immense. The Seljuk Empire, the Crusaders, and even the great Saladin himself had to contend with the shadow of Alamut. They were a state within a state, operating from a chain of mountain fortresses stretching from Persia to Syria. Each castle was a self-sufficient community, complete with libraries, observatories, and gardens. A beacon of Ismaili culture and learning in a hostile world. Hassan-i Sabbah himself was a scholar, a theologian, and a strategist of genius. Reportedly never left the fortress of Alamut for the last 35 years of his life, from where he directed his global network with meticulous precision. Historians like Bernard Lewis see a deeper meaning in their story, a connection between the assassins, disciplined devotion, and the extremist movements that would echo across the centuries. Their methods, though shocking, were a calculated response to overwhelming military force. Unable to match the armies of their enemies, they perfected the art of asymmetrical warfare. The end of their era came not by the sword of a rival empire, but by the unstoppable force of the Mongol invasion. In 1256, the armies of Hulagu Khan laid siege to Alamut. After a fierce resistance, the fortress, and with it the assassins' power in Persia, finally fell. The Mongols systematically destroyed their castles and, most tragically, their legendary libraries, burning centuries of knowledge and ensuring that the story of the assassins would forever be told by their enemies. The assassins became both legend and warning, their name whispered in fear across kingdoms for generations. Part truth, part myth, their legacy survives in books, in stories, and in the very language we speak. From the dizzying heights of Alamut, their shadows stretched across empires, a testament to the power of belief and the will of a few to challenge the many. And even now, centuries later, the world still remembers the silent, precise, and deadly blades of the Order of Assassins. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into history as fascinating as we did, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more stories from the shadows.